Many young people who are experimenting with drugs as well as those who are struggling with addiction find themselves wishing that they had never tried drugs. Drugs can and most likely will ruin the life of anyone who uses them for any extent of period. And why they regret it? What are the best reasons of using drugs? Well, hello, I'm Angel Stella Yolanda. Hello from English department, and today we are going to talk about what are the best reasons to avoid using drugs. Physical addiction. Drugs are physically addictive. The easy way to understand is to recognize that using drugs can causes enormous disruption in the system and biological process of the body, especially in the chemistry of your brain. To cope with this, the body compensates by adjusting its chemistry in the terms of hormones, neurotransmitters, and other substances. Taking drugs out of the equation at this point is like pulling one leg out from under a three-leg stool. The result is that the person experiences severely uncomfortable symptoms of withdrawal. A drug addict will, in fact, very often not even feel like himself or herself without using drugs. And the second one is emotional addiction. People normally start using drugs as a way to solve some type of problem, such as an unhappy home life, stress at work, or social pressure. This doesn't handle the problem, it only messes it. As time goes on, the person becomes more and more dependent on the drugs as a coping mechanism and a way out. A person reaches a point where he or she has to get high to face an uncomfortable social situation, to perform at work, or even merely to make it through the day. And next is enormous expenses. Drugs are expensive even for casual use, but an addict needs to get high every week, every day, and perhaps even several times per day. The cost of supporting such a habit can be astonishing. Other areas of life will suffer as most or all the addict's money goes to pay for the next fix, and he or she may start stealing from friends and family or fail to support loved ones. In other cases, the person is liable to resort to criminal activities to keep up the habit or might look for cheaper and more dangerous ways to get high. And next is drugs can degrade your health. Most drugs can easily be recognized as being poisons, a fact that is reflected by the term intoxication used to refer to the state of being under the influence of drugs. When a person keeps using drugs for a long period, he or she will tend to have a weaker immune system. His or her internal organs and glands won't work as well, and the person will likely be sick more often. Addicts typically suffer health problems due to the fact that they don't take as good care of themselves as they should, from neglecting their exercise to eating a diet heavy in junk food to staying up for long hours without proper tests. And the next is accidents. A drug addict is far more likely to end up in a car crash or other type of accident that may result in serious or even fatal injuries. Spending so much time under the influence of drugs tends to dull the senses, increase reaction time, and impair judgment whether or not the person is high at the time of the accident. To put it simply, people who use drugs don't see the world around them as brightly and clearly as they should. And for this reason, they are serious liability to themselves and to the rest of us. Next is drugs can destroy personal relationships, believe it or not. Drugs change a person, and they do so in many ways. One of this has to do with the fact that the new experiences that the addict has been living through usually change the way that he or she looks at the world. The person changes so much that his or her friends and family might feel like they don't know the person anymore. Drug addicts also tend to be secretive about their activities, where they have been and with whom. The loss of trust and of common ground you found with a need very often means means that the addict will become so greatly estranged from his or her family and friends that the relationship is, and for all intents and purposes, over. And the most important is drugs can make you overdose. There is the constant threat of overdose. Addicts routinely suffer an overdose, one that is often fatal because they are chasing the dragon by constantly looking for a new way to get high, to reclaim the experiences they used to have when using drugs. This usually means using more and more of drugs, which predictably can result in overdose. In other cases, they may have been trying a new drugs and use more than what might have been even somewhat safe. So what can you do to avoid using drugs? With so many reasons to avoid drug addiction, one thing is clear. Drug use is not something you should ever get involved with. The best course of action is obvious, namely to avoid drugs in the first place and to get help if you are already addicted. Many people get into drugs because they are lacking a real purpose in life. It's important to set goals and work toward achieving them. Find activities you are interested and pursue them. If you are associating with others who drink heavily or use drugs, this might be a good time to relook at who you are spending time with and find other people to associate with who engage in more positive interests and activities. If you find that you are unable to stop using drugs, regardless of how much you want to quit, it is time to give yourself the chance to get better by checking into rehab. By doing so, you can look forward to a fresh start on life and a productive, drug-free future. So I think that's all about why we should avoid using drugs. Take care and love yourself. I'm Stella, Yolanda.